This is not how we wanted the season to end. Welcome into the Academy Sports and Outdoor Studio, Lindsay, Dave, Tay, and Manny. Before we do anything else, we just want to thank you guys for joining us during our inaugural year on Cover 4 and for joining in on this magical season.
Dave, there you are.
All right, we are going to have to talk about this game that happened last night, guys. First, we will do hindsight 2020. There's a lot to look at when you break down the film of what happened, all the change of direction, of momentum. But the first thing on hindsight 2020 is the Cowboys were down 21-3 early in the game. Not something you ever want to see.
Do we have to do this? We have to?
Hey, I'm trying to bring the energy, so if you could match my efforts.
Bring the energy.
That would be nice.
Hindsight 2020, let's just cut to the chase.
Okay.
We knew the Packers were going to start fast. We knew they were. They've been hot. They've been hot for the last 7 weeks, going into 8. The Cowboys really haven't played meaningful football in 4 weeks. You could debate even longer, but they haven't played meaningful football, haven't been checked in physically nor mentally in a while at game speed. Packers are going to come out hot. We didn't think they were going to come out that hot, though.
Yeah, Dave pointed out a couple times to start the game. They hadn't really faced a lot of deficiencies throughout this entire season. Yes, they'd been down to San Francisco in week 4, and I think the Steelers game was probably the closest one to this game. But they were really playing behind the chains for most of the first half. Yeah. Obviously, I felt that way until the fourth quarter.
I think it's funny because, we saw the Cowboys started slow. They had penalties. They had uncharacteristic plays, put them behind the chains to start that game. We've seen that happen a lot this season. Usually the defense played well enough to keep it from mattering.
Yep.
When you're playing Aaron Rodgers and that offense, the way they've been clicking the last month of the season.
Can't do it, Judge.
You can't start slow when you know how hot they're going to start. Aaron Rodgers actually said in the lead up to the game on Wednesday, he said, we know we have to start strong. We got to quiet that building. We got to keep Zeke Elliott off the field. It's exactly what they did.
Next up in hindsight 2020. Defense gives up 34 points, and this one's really hard to talk about. Hard for me because the Cowboys matched them up until the last second with 31 points, but Aaron Rodgers, he was on another level.
Well, Dave is right. This defense has been able to really, do the step-up thing that they've done this past month, especially against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Lions. And one of their best traits as a defense as a whole was their red zone clogging. When they would allow teams to get down there, they would let up the big chunk plays, chunk yardage, but they would never let the teams actually get the scores.
Yep.
It just seemed so easy for Aaron Rodgers all night.
Packers were 3 for 3 on red zone touchdowns to start the game. When they got down there, they got inside the 5-yard line 3 times. They made it look easy every single time.
Yeah.
It's not something we've seen this year. And honestly, I said this before the show, though, Manny, people are going to hate to hear me say this, but the defense played well enough to win this game, I thought.
Against the guy like Aaron Rodgers?
You got to consider the opponent, consider the offense.
They did not drop a thing.
But you just said the exact thing. The Packers were 3-3 in the red zone. Mm-hmm. The Cowboys were 2-4.
Exactly.
They were not able to convert in the red zone like they have been able to this whole season. That was always the way that this team was winning.
Yep.
The Cowboys defense was allowing these teams to get down there, but they would hold them to a field goal. While on the other hand, the Cowboys offense would get down to the red zone and convert.
You're 100% right. They settle for a field goal on their opening drive of the game. They settle for a field goal with 35 seconds left. We all know what happens after that. Got to get touchdowns when you're playing Aaron Rodgers. That's what it comes down to for me.
Final hindsight 2020. We're not blaming the game on the referees. That is just a disclaimer here. But guys, there was a lot of questions about what was going on. And Daryl Johnston was in studio last night and said they have an all-star crew where none of these referees have ever worked together during the season. But when you pick the best and put them together, it doesn't work out that way.
That's kind of just an odd thing. And I was talking to a couple of people about that today. And I think their mindset is, yes, these are the guys who have been best rated at that position. But imagine if you're just on a new show and it's like, okay, guys, 4 guys, you don't know who it is. You don't know how to work with someone.
Yeah.
What's their viewpoint that they're always calling? I know this guy will be there.
And she's exactly right. I mean, crews are very similar. Officiating crews are very similar to teams. It's very hard if you just throw them out there as individuals as opposed to a cohesive and collective unit. But I got to be honest, trying to be non-biased here. The refs called it bad all the way around.
For
Bo
sure.
Claiborne, Scandrick, they got away with a lot of holding calls on pivotal third downs for the Packers. So a game like this, I'm sure y'all saw the game last night also, Kansas City, Pittsburgh. Kansas City's complaining too about a holding call that lost them the game. I just can't blame refs.
I think it's really stupid that they do these all-star crews. It's just like you said, it's like a football team. Keep the chemistry going. Keep the guys you know. Having said all of that, this is not 2014 where there was this horrendously
replacement ref type thing.
No, I'm thinking back to the Dez Bryant game with the judgment call. And is it a catch? Does he have control? And it swings the game, and it's a questionable call. We saw a number of bad calls on both sides of the game. I consider it a wash. Yeah, you can complain about a lot of stuff. The refs aren't why the Cowboys lost that game.
Exactly.
That's just how I feel about it.
They were just bad all around. Sorry if any of you referees
are
are watching us right now. Let's move on to game changers, and there were some big ones last night. Let's start with Dez Bryant. Guys, coming into this game, everyone was saying, there was talk, this is a night where Dez can prove who he is or Dez can come up really short. Although they didn't win, he proved who he is, Manny.
Yeah, I think Dez did exactly what he had to do. It's really disheartening when you look at the whole thing. Dez played a heck of a game. I mean, what more do you want from him? Not only did he have the receptions, not only did he have the yards, but he had the touchdowns and he had a big pivotal plays. So it's not like Dez didn't show up. He showed up in the biggest way. They just fell short. But a game changer of them all because he's the guy that kept them in the game and got them back in the game.
I'm fixing to sound like a homer, I guess. I don't know. It's a moral with victory. It's a silver lining, but I'm pumped for Dez that he got to have a game like that. He set a season high for catches. He set a season high for yards, made him pay with 2 touchdowns. You knew their secondary was depleted. You knew they were going to focus on Zeke, and he made him pay all throughout the game. I was pumped for him that he got to have an opportunity.
Hey, I thought my prediction was going to come true, getting Dez 3 touchdowns. Unfortunately, it didn't, but he was close. I mean, he was just really able to capitalize on that momentum shift, especially after Jeff Heath had that interception. So.
Yeah, Tay, you're leading me perfectly into our next game changer. Anytime we can talk about Jeff Heath, it's a fun night on Cover 4.
Is that your favorite?
He's my favorite. Way to go, Jeff.
Jeff Heath, yes. He is actually leading the team for the second year in a row with interceptions, and he makes the big plays when you need it. And
How was that not a fumble, though?
How did Rodgers hold on to that?
Because he has hand strength of a Superman.
I'll never understand.
Yes.
Well, I mean, and like you said, Jeff Heath played a great game. This guy, he showed up. I think he was surprised he caught that ball, honestly. But he showed up.
Did you see the pictures of it? It's like he's in midair.
Amazing. He was a big game changer, but again, silver lining.
All right, our final game changer is not Dak Prescott. It's fourth quarter Dak Prescott. His stats were unbelievable. He quieted all the rumors of, is he going to be nervous? Will he play like a rookie? And I think that's something Cowboys fans have a lot to look forward to.
Well, the funny thing is that Dak has done this all season long. That Eagles game is one of the ones that sticks out to me right away. He has these fourth quarter performances where he's able to rally this offense. And I thought in his post-game press conference, he said some really great things. He goes, we just kept believing that the defense was going to get the stops and that the offense was going to get the touchdowns, and I knew that I would make the plays. His confidence that he has in himself really seems to show up later in the game when he's under that pressure.
And we've been talking about silver linings throughout this segment. What else can we talk about? But if the biggest one for me is how good he looked on the brightest of stages with the entire country watching. There wasn't an early playoff game. Everybody was watching the Cowboys. And we've seen him do it all year. It's not a surprise. You should be familiar with this by now. But to see him step up in the playoffs and not shrink from the moment. And yeah, he threw a pick, but he had a great game overall. He actually had a higher passer rating than Aaron Rodgers. I think it says a lot about what the future holds for Dak Prescott. Yeah.
All right, we're going to take our break. When we come back, we will talk out of bounds predictions for the offseason and sound off to give you even more silver linings on Cover 4.
Join us for the ultimate dining experience at AT&T Stadium's new sports bar. Open daily, Stadium Club is the perfect place for a casual night out, a business lunch, or to catch any game. Providing a stellar culinary and entertainment experience, Stadium Club has 20 flat screens and highlights a classic menu with a sophisticated touch and local and seasonal ingredients. At Stadium Club, you will enjoy first-class dining with all the comforts of your favorite sports bar. Visit attstadium.com.
Oh, yes, Cole Beasley, yes, he had a good game, and he's still the toughest guy on that field. But even tougher is the fact that after a hard loss on Monday, he welcomed his newest member of his family. Congratulations, Cole Beasley and his wife, for their new child.
That'll lift your spirits.
He said that's the only thing that could heal a broken heart.
It gives you a little bit of perspective that something's a little bit bigger than football. So
congrats to the Beasley fam. Let's move on to Sound Off and talk about what is next for the Dallas Cowboys. This is kind of a different Sound Off, but everybody's going to be able to weigh in and kind of talk about what's going to happen upcoming, maybe some big things you want to see happen. Who wants to go first?
Yeah, I'll start it off, man. If I'm the Cowboys, I need a playmaker on defense. I think that's what's next. They have a great defense that bends, but it doesn't break. But I need somebody in the most pivotal and most crucial of situations that will give me a play. I can't trust Jeff Heath, the GOAT, to show up every time. So I think next for the Cowboys, a playmaker, somebody that you can really look to make that big play at the most pivotal time.
Is that free agency, Manny, or is that draft? Because the Cowboys have the 28th pick.
So it may already be within the locker room in Jalen Smith, right? If he can come back and be the guy that they drafted, that they expect him to be, the playmaker already may be in the building. I mean, remember, his size, his physical attributes, his characteristics, his heart, his determination. What else do you want? It may already be here.
Now I want more Jalen footage. That was awesome. There's just so much hope there for the Cowboys. Tay, what do you think?
My silver lining is really Jason Witten. I know that last night he sounded a little bit somber, talking about he's given this team all he has, but he has. I mean, he is a 14-year veteran who is just seeking that ring, and I don't blame him. I think that sometimes when you lose tough games like this, Manny's talked about it, these teams are learning a lot with losses more than wins. And I think that next year, having a young team like they do, he might be the fuel to get them back into this spot again. And I think they will make the moves necessary in the offseason, just like they did this past season, because I think Will McClay is one of the best personnel guys in the entire football league. So with Jason Witten at the helm, being in his 15th year, he will be a fuel for this team.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know how to follow that one up.
It's the GOAT. It's really hard to do, and he's gold jacket Witten.
All right. You got something or not?
Yeah. I mean.
What you got, Dave?
Come on.
It's hard to bounce back after a loss like that.
Airplane Mo? No.
Okay.
Airplane no?
All right.
There's a lot of young talent on this team. There's a lot of stuff to feel good about. That, and it feels so hollow right now. But you talk about how good Dak Prescott looked. You talk about Ezekiel Elliott. You talk about the offensive line that you have in place. There's a lot of good stuff to feel good about. Yeah, there's a lot of free agents on this team. There's a lot of unknowns that we know going into this offseason. The core of this team looks really, really talented. And, I mean, the future looks bright as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, you mentioned the future. Let's go to Out of Bounds. Our bold predictions are now going to be about what can happen this offseason, and they better be bold. Manny, you're first.
It's the last show, so my prediction is bold. It might even be dumb. But I'm saying Tony Romo will be a Dallas Cowboy for the duration of the 2017 season. Why? His contract. One, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to try to reduce it? I think he'll say, no, sir. Are you going to trade him? If you trade him, somebody's going to have to take on that contract. I think they'll say, no, sir. And lastly, what are you just going to do? Cut him? Not going to happen. Jerry, too loyal, too faithful to Tony. I think Tony Romo, 2017 season, still going to be a Dallas Cowboy. He'll get his ring as a backup.
Wow.
The bold prediction was you calling for a Super Bowl 52 win, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's
I'm
awesome.
good with that.
Yeah,
Dave,
great.
you're next.
I mean,
are you on the other side of that?
Yeah, I'm going to take a page out of Lee Corso's book and say, not so fast, my friend. And I don't even feel like it's that bold. I don't think Tony Romo's future lies with the Dallas Cowboys.
Dave.
I'm sorry. It doesn't make sense. And everything you just said was a decent point. You don't pay a guy that kind of money to play backup quarterback. He doesn't want to play backup quarterback. He's got 2 to 3 years max, if not 1 year left to play quarterback at a high level in the NFL. He deserves to go start somewhere. He's going to want to go start somewhere. I don't know what his trade value is.
Cut or traded? That's my question.
I think the Cowboys will find a way to trade him. I think they'll trade him outside the division.
Jerry Magic?
I don't, and it's a lot to dissect. It's a lot to break down. I don't know how it happens, but I think Tony Romo winds up somewhere in the AFC next year, starts for another year or two before he retires. That's my guess for 2017.
All right, guys. Well, Manny already pretty much stated mine, saying that they have to go get some defensive guys in the draft, which I think they do. They spent 3 years really aiming at the offensive line. I think they might do the same now with the defensive line. Maybe just, helping out Sean Lee a little bit, but they're going to have a really big defensive draft this season. You saw that you can find a guy like Anthony Brown in the later rounds. You don't have to focus on them with the 6th overall pick like Mo Claiborne. So I think they will focus heavily on that. We might even see them make some offensive moves in free agency due to the fact that they know being the 28th pick, you can still get a highly productive defensive end at that position.
So my question is, Taylor and Dave, you guys sit next to Brian Broaddus, who's already been breaking down the draft for months now.
Draft show, Thursday morning.
28th pick. I've heard this is a deep draft, though.
This is a deep draft for position players. I mean, this is not a big quarterback draft. I know everyone's kind of looking at Deshaun Watson.
But do they need one?
They don't need one.
Awesome. A lot of defensive, a lot of pass rushers in this draft, a lot of DBs in this draft.
I like it.
4 big-time Dallas DBs going into free agency. That's definitely something to watch.
Okay, well, we are now going to move to OT. We are all out of time for Cover 4. Manny?
It's the last OT, and OT stands for overtime. And overtime stands for what the Cowboys probably would have got if they would not have spiked the ball. I'm heartbroken. I know you're heartbroken. So I got to end by saying thank you, all you loyal Cowboys fans, for taking in a former Eagle, and for tuning in.
It's really hard to think that this 2016 team will never play together again, but this coaching staff will. They will be coaching the Pro Bowl in just next week, actually, and they will be coaching some of the best players in the National Football League, some of them even being free agents. So you don't know how that will help, because we saw last year when they coached the Senior Bowl, it helped them get a guy named Dak Prescott.
I don't know when we're doing Cover 4 for the next time. I don't know what 2017 looks like in any kind of grand scheme, but I know I will be right here. DallasCowboys.com, Dallas Cowboys TV, Twitter, @HellmanDC, shameless plug right there. Hey, get in my DMs, follow me, tweet at me. I don't care. All I know is I'll be in Mobile for the Senior Bowl next week. I'll be in Indianapolis for the Combine. The fight continues into 2017, even if this particular team is done. I'm not going anywhere, so I'm looking forward to keeping up with y'all in the coming year.
That'll be fun.
That was cute. That was cute.
Mobile.
15 degrees? Let's go.
I'm tired of your shameless plugs, though.
Okay. Okay, Manny Acho. Let's talk about your USA Today tweet.
I got 10 seconds left. Can I get off the show in peace, please?
Okay, yes,
you
we
can't.
It's the last show.
Peace. Stay tuned for Twitter, and we will let you know when we'll be having shows after big events, and you can tune in there.
But seriously,
Manny,
get in my DMs. Hellman
Dave,
DC, let's
stay
go.
out of his
Hi.
DMs.
Hey.
Appreciate y'all.
The driest DMs of life.
It's true.